that both parents should get maternity and paternity leave at the same time is a little weird.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't. Only
Why?
because I have a German cousin and they get the shit. I mean, they get like a full year for the woman and 9 months for the husband.
That's great. You want to live in Germany? Because in America, you got to work. Like, here's the thing. If you have a small business, you're the one who loves small businesses, okay? Right?
Yeah.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Joe Rogan getting slammed by Mike Figueredo from the Humanist Report. Joe Rogan is saying that he's against maternity leave, and Mike is just going in on him. Let's get into it.
And I do want to weigh in now because more people are weighing in, and apparently people have really strong feelings about paternity leave. And to me, you might not be surprised by this, but my view is that it's good. I think that taking more time off to enjoy life and the big moments in life is an objectively good thing. But Joe Rogan is going to weigh in, and I mean, maybe people will be surprised with his take. This is someone who's kind of viewed as the average Joe. Ideologically, he kind of represents middle America, and he's usually pro-worker, and a lot of blue-collar people listen to him. So, of course, he's going to weigh in with a really pro-worker stance on the issue of paternity leave, right? Well, no. In fact, he's going to sound like the out-of-touch multimillionaire that he is in actuality. Take a look.
But here's the thing. One of you should do that. One of you should take care of the children. Like, this idea that both parents should get maternity and paternity leave at the same time is a little weird.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't. Only
Why?
because I have a German cousin and they get the shit. I mean, they get like a full year for the woman and 9 months for the husband.
That's great. You want to live in Germany? Because in America, you got to work. Like, here's the thing. If you have a small business, you're the one who loves small businesses, okay? Right?
Yeah.
Imagine.
No,
if
you
have
can't
an employee,
take maternity leave.
Imagine if you have an employee and this is your fucking CEO of your little company or whatever, and the wife has a baby and the husband's like, I'm taking 4 months off. You're like, what the are you talking about?
So he says the idea that both parents take time off when a child is born is weird. And I don't know why that's weird. I mean, I guess that in the context of American late-stage capitalism, it's weird because there's this expectation that we work ourselves to death, literally, and taking time off is just frowned upon, right? If you work and work and work and you never have a day off, that's actually good. It speaks to, your tenacity as a worker, and you're going to make it. Except that's not realistic, and that's anti-human. I think that as human beings, we are entitled to enjoy life.
And I really like what Mike's saying right here about late-stage capitalism, the context of it. If anyone else hears this in this day and age, they're going to completely agree. They're going to say, hey, look, why is this guy taking, just come on, be a man about it. Just keep on working. But the whole point of it is that this is not how life is supposed to be. You can help your wife out if you want to. You should be able to help your wife who just gave birth. This is, it's a special time. This has to be something that you guys can share together. If not, they have that saying that says the only person who knows what times you take off of work is going to be your wife and kids. They're the ones who appreciate the most. And if you can't do that, then what do you do? Are we just living to work?
It's wrong that we're just working ourselves to death at the behest of our capitalist overlords. People have a right to just enjoy life. Why is it so weird that people take time off to celebrate a really important moment in their lives? I mean, having a child is the most significant moment in many people's lives. So why shouldn't they be able to enjoy that? If you're a father, why shouldn't you be there or be able to be there to help raise that child, be there as a support system for the mother? Or if you're a same-sex couple, why can't you both be there to get to know your children? It's weird that he thinks it's weird. And he says, it's great that they have that in Germany, but in America, you got to work. In America, you got to work. In other words, work yourself to death, take no time for enjoyment. I mean, for Joe Rogan to say that as a multimillionaire who gets paid millions of dollars to talk for a living, maybe, it's easy from his perspective to say that because every day feels like a vacation to him because his work is pretty easy, in comparison with the average American. But for most people, they fucking hate their jobs. It makes them miserable. It makes them hate life. They fucking hate their jobs. So God forbid they take more time off to enjoy life. I just don't get it. Like, this is really a privileged and elitist view that tells me Joe Rogan he hasn't worked a normal job in a very long time, because People don't like their jobs. If you're living a 9-to-5 life, or you're working a regular job in fast food or retail, I mean, you're already miserable. So you should be allowed time to just, follow your passion, travel, enjoy art, take up a fucking hobby, just get back, smoke weed, and play video games. Why is this so wrong? I just don't get it. And he carves out this exception for like CEOs and says, well, I mean, if you're a CEO, taking 4 months off, that's kind of weird, right? Look, I think that is a weird exception. What we're talking about here when we're talking about paternity leave and worker rights more broadly is just normal working class people. But I mean,
and I think it should be clear that, Joe Rogan is just wanting to complain about anything. I know, he's said in the past that anybody who's just working a 9-to-5, that guy's going to want to, take his life. So he's saying everything that he's saying contradicts itself. He's saying, oh, well, in America, we work here. But then, have him talk about the life of someone who's in a 9-to-5 without making it sound so depressing. Even that phrase 9-to-5 sounds depressing nowadays. That's just a part of the culture at this point. So then he's going to say, okay, well, you need to follow what you're doing. You need to, and then as soon as you have people that want to do exactly what he's doing, which is podcasting, he's going to say, oh, well, they don't have anyone who wants to really work these days. It becomes cyclical where he's just doing nothing but complaining, and you have people that eat it up and agree with him, not because they actually agree with him, but because he provides a channel for them to put their frustrations out. At the end of the day, we're all frustrated about the same thing, but he has to protect this system that he sort of climbed on top of. He can't be calling for a rebellion and then get, demonetized. That would be the worst thing to happen to him. He has a family to feed as well. He has golden handcuffs.
I mean, if you want to carve out an exception and not allow CEOs and top company executives to take paternity leave, okay, I mean, they get paid 350 times higher than their employees, so I'd be fine with carving out exceptions for them and not allowing them to get paternity leave. I mean, I don't really care. What I care about is workers. But he's going to explain how, if you look at this from the perspective of the employer, well, you can see why they might not support something like paternity leave.
I'm questioning who do you believe should pay for something like that?
I don't know, but if I was an employer and I had a guy who worked for me, who wanted to take 3 months off because his wife gave birth, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, Mike?
Even to support his wife?
Did you give birth? To support his wife while I pay him for free. Do you understand that this is kind of, most people, when this happens, if they make enough money, the wife will not work and the father will work.
Right.
And then the wife takes care of the child. And this is normal.
Yeah.
And then the dad provides support when he comes home. If you're saying that the man and the woman should both get like 3 months off, this is a new thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Isn't
it's
it?
not new in Europe, but
We're not in Europe. This is better. This is America.
Better for a multimillionaire like you, but Europe is better for people. Objectively so. People in Europe, they don't live perfect lives. It's not a utopia, but they at least have healthcare. They at least have basic rights when it comes to the workplace. So it's really easy for someone who gets paid to talk for a living, handsomely, to say that. But it's not the reality for most people. Americans are overworked and underpaid, and they're fucking miserable. They hate life. And that's not something that anyone is shocked by unless you're as out of touch as Joe Rogan. And he says here, if you're saying that the man and the woman should both get like 3 months off, this is a new thing. Again, it's not a new thing. It's just new to us because we're used to getting fucked over by a government that doesn't care about us. But yet here you are.
So there we have it, you guys. And look, I mean, we can complain about these systems that are oppressing us. We can complain about these people who are complaining about it. I mean, you can continue to do as much as we want to do talking about who is affecting us. But I'd like to, change the narrative and change the perspective of what can we do about it as people. I think that there's not going to be any change whatsoever until you're able to weaponize a workforce, until you're able to weaponize, we're able to come together to go against these, these abuse. It's abusive relationship at the end of the day. If I'm with my employer and they don't want me to take off of work, or they can leverage a lot of different things. I've been in that position. I am in that position to where they can tell you, look, you can't get off of this. You know, I can find somebody to replace you tomorrow. And that's sort of the vibe. And we need to come together to realize, no, they can't replace you tomorrow. That costs a lot of money to do that. And it's not as simple as that. So you are important to the company, especially if you're able to get together. You know, I know there's a lot of union busting that's going on, but if there's another way to get together to do this as a whole, as an American people, I think that we can really reclaim our rights as workers. If anybody has ways and ideas on how to do that, please put them in the comments. I mean, I would love to hear. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. It's day by day figuring this out. It's another day in the progressive way.